All right, guys, welcome back to the Raised Hunting Podcast. I'm your host, David Holder. I'm here with my two knuckleheads, and I'm going to apologize that they're here because I think I have no idea what's going to come out because we have another guest today who I'm not going to apologize for. Mark Drury's here with us today, and so we're excited to have him. I'll let him talk here in just a second, but as usual, we want to do our little housekeeping stuff. Make sure you guys are checking out the website. We don't have to tell you podcast guys. I mean, the sweatshirts go as fast as we can get them, but I'm really looking forward to what we're getting ready to talk about here in just a few minutes.
Are you not going to mention anything of how we're not sitting in your office now?
No, I was going to let you do it.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was, because you're sitting kind of right, like iconic.
Yeah, look, it's all done. We're done with David's office, and now we've upgraded.
Yeah, we've been sitting in my office to do the last 3 podcasts or 4 podcasts.
We are we're missing one. We got some heads to change out here, but I think it looks a lot better.
Oh yeah,
I think we've upgraded significantly.
I think it's awesome. I'm honored to be here.
You're the first one to use it.
I'm honored. It's special.
We got to give credit to all Caden.
Caden did a good job.
He did pretty much all of it alone.
Caden is our high school, what is it?
It's called MOC program.
MOC, like where they get to go work when they're at school.
Oh.
And so
how cool is that?
Yeah, so I feel like we're like taking it, we're almost like we're in a foreign country where we're working the labor under the age or something.
Child labor.
No, he's now to the point where he graduated. But we're trying to keep him around. I mean, he's just a really good hand.
You're going to try and keep him long term, or is he off to college?
We'll see.
He doesn't want to go to college, but he's got parents influencing him.
I was going to say, I wonder what mom and dad think about it.
Caden graduated early.
Yeah, that's.
I would not have guessed that one.
Poor Caden.
Got to throw him a little jab.
But anyhow, he did 95% of all this. I mean, it was
impressive.
Yeah, it was our mindset of what we wanted. Easton and I kind of gave him what we were thinking, and then we'd leave him alone.
And his work ethic's good?
It's really
Absolutely.
good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Really good.
That's cool.
Took me like 3 years to find one of those kids. I've been looking for an MOC student because we're always more busy in the school year for them. For us, it's selling season.
Is he Gen Z too?
I don't.
Yeah. See, I think people give Gen Z a little bit too much crap.
Isn't that me too?
Yeah, but he's like
no.
Definitely. Yeah, he is. I am.
I'm pretty sure I'm in Gen Z too, which I thought was I don't want to be in any generation.
Because I have a Gen Z that works for me too, and he works hard as well. So everybody says that none of these Gen Z kids will do anything, but
Caden's a hard worker.
They just have to prove themselves.
He's one of them that you
they
can
said the same thing about
kind
millennials and everything else.
give him something and let him go and come back, and it might not be right, but he won't have stopped. Like start working on a project and go, well, I'm not sure what you wanted, so I just stopped. He's going to move forward and try and get her done, and if he made a mistake, so be it. Which is, I'd rather have that. I'd rather have someone that
absolutely
complete the job.
Good for Caden. Good job, Caden.
Yep.
All right. First, we got one story today. If you guys, I'm reminding you again so that because we have tomorrow. Mark was unexpected. This was very last minute.
I was in the neighborhood, so I dropped by. So let's do a podcast, guys.
Yeah. Normally, I would have had you guys sending us questions, turkey questions and stuff about what we're going to talk about today. But tomorrow, we do have our planned podcast that we've been discussing that is going to be a very fun shed hunting podcast. So if you guys have questions, go on the website, submit a request, and you can write any shed hunting questions. Heck, if you even have some pretty cool shed hunting stories, or maybe if you found an 80-inch shed, we'd love to hear about 80-inch sheds being found, not by any of us, obviously.
Just send it directly to Warren.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so today's...
I really want to find an 80-inch antler. And so they think it's just hilarious that now we'll get podcast listeners that are sending in, I stepped off the school bus and found this one.
All the time. It is like it will not stop. Every year, it's amazing.
There's a lot of people shed hunting anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good pastime. All right, I'm going to read from Josh Bryant. He said, hey, guys, new listener and new commenter. Love the podcast and some great advice. I farm and haven't been able to hunt much this year, plus I lost some of my best land. Finally got in the woods and just decided to hunt the wind and get out there, and the good Lord provided. Gotta love not chasing leads and worrying about trail cameras. Just get in the woods and enjoy the time. That's exactly what I did. Not a giant, no big score, but awesome memory with a new bow. Look forward to getting some products soon. Good one, Josh. Appreciate that.
Congrats,
and a
my
good
friend.
Reminder. You don't have to know every
Josh
deer
sounds
that's
like
there.
he gets it.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
He does. I like it. All right. You're up, Warren.
All right. Got some shout-outs. Cody said, this will be the first year I'm really going to look hard for sheds. The property I hunt is up in northern Wisconsin. I'm still pretty new to shed hunting. I'm unsure when the best time to start looking would be. Do you guys have any recommendations on when would be the best time to start looking? Love the podcast. Always makes my drives to work go by quicker. Love tuning in every week. I would tell you, if you're in Wisconsin, you can look whenever you want. If you're in Iowa, not till April. No, but I would say if you're going to go to public stuff or places that there's pressure, you're probably going to want to be going sooner rather than later. However, at the same time, if you have really cold weather or lots of snow, I would try to be conscious of your deer herd and not putting too much stress on them. If you, that would be my recommendation. Think of the deer first before, if you got a lot of snow and stuff and the deer are already having a hard time, try to wait a few weeks to be really looking for antlers. If you can, later February, early March is when the majority will be on the ground. So with that, we'll go to the next one. Aaron says, great podcast. Shed hunting is my off-season passion. Love seeing some of you guys' amazing sheds. Vega, Gray, Zeb Irwin, Brian Sheffield, Kevin Ranfeld, Eric Robards, and Jake Garrett. Appreciate you guys. Eric did. Somebody wished me luck on finding an 80, so I appreciate that.
Good luck.
Yeah.
I
Always
need
good
it.
luck. All right.
need it.
We good?
I
Yep.
think so.
All right. Well, I'm going to get back to the subject on hand and make a formal introduction. We have Mark Drury here with us, which I don't think he needs. I would say that 99.9% of our podcast listeners probably already know who Mark is. Maybe we're going to talk a little bit about some things they might not know about you. We'll see. But a lot of people, I think like these guys' generation know Mark Drury deer. Deer. Maybe they don't realize how much of a turkey hunter that you have been. And honestly, when I first met you, it was because of deer, but I knew you already because of the calling. And now my first question is, are you still doing any competition calling or anything?
No. I'm judging the Grand National Finals this year.
Are you?
Yeah.
That's a lot easier job.
Probably not, actually. I'm just going to give them all 20s. I love everybody, But no, I haven't competed since 1996 was the last time I called in a competition.
Gotcha.
We had started the Mad Game Call Company in 94, actually summer 93. We launched at SHOT Show in 94. But by 96, I was buried and just didn't have the time to put into it that you need to really be competitive at that level. And I went to the world and was the last person in the cut. So I had the lowest score going. I made the cut, but I was the lowest score. And I told Tracy that day, I said, I think it's probably time to stop. So I did. I retired and focused more on the call company. Right. And our callers at that time, Don Chip, Steve Stoltz, and Mark Scroggins, and Larry Shockey, and Doug Benefield, and eventually Matt Van Sice and Billy Yargis. And, between that group, while they were with Mad, they won, I don't know how many national championships, multiple, probably 5 or 6. And anyway, focused on that and Drury Outdoors and videography and stopped calling competitively.
Gotcha.
How do you train for a turkey calling competition?
Well, you practice a lot.
But is it like, are you trying to make sure you're hitting certain tones, or like what is that?
Well, you're trying to sound like a turkey, so you listen to a lot of vocalizations, to get it in your head, and then you try to perfect that so that you present it to the judge. And not only do you sound like a turkey, a pleasing turkey, but in a format that he's like, wow, that guy's, there's no mistakes. He's very perfect with his delivery. So it's a combination of a lot of different things, and it's evolved from what it was back then to today's callers, who are just unbelievable. Those guys right now, I don't know if you've heard the Grand Nationals lately, but you'd have to listen to them to believe it. Like Matt Van Sice and Jesse Martin and Stevie Stoltz and Josh Grossenbacher and Dave Owens. Like, they are insane how good they are. Van Sice sent me this yesterday. He didn't know I was judging, but nonetheless, it wouldn't matter. But I want you to hear a guy that is at the top of his game. You can't tell him from a turkey.
That is actually really impressive.
It's insane. Listen to that. And he's going to switch calls here. Watch this next call. This is the one that blew my mind.
Yeah.
That's
That
a
is
call.
dang good. That is really freaking good.
Yeah, it's beyond good. I mean, you couldn't tell it from a live turkey.
It sounds legit.
Can't
So
do it.
If
couldn't tell.
judge that and they all sound that good, how do you?
You'd
what
be
are
a
you
lot of
looking for?
20s on my cards. When they're, I'm not lying. When they're that good, I will
Right.
tell them you're the best. You know, because you can't get any better. You're getting the high score I can give. You know,
Yeah.
for sure. But if you hear a little tweak or a little mistake, then you go down a little bit.
That's so interesting. I've never even just it reminds me a lot of like when you're elk hunting, you can always tell it's a real bull because they have that guttural sound, and it's like he was able to actually get that same tone from a turkey, which is interesting that he's able to figure out how to replicate that.
Well, he's the best that ever did it. Also, you're listening to the best caller of all time. He's won the Grand Nationals 9 times, which is unheard of. You know, so he is the best caller in the world. Dave beat him last year. Dave Owens did. Pinhoti. I don't know if you guys follow Pinhoti.
I've seen a few of their
Yeah,
that stuff.
he's phenomenal. But just listening to those guys, it just gives me chills.
Absolutely. I mean, so when I'm over here, you had the phone like this. I'm envisioning a hen walking through.
Hen.
You're thinking of a hen. It sounds so real.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
My hen sounds like she's been smoking cigarettes.
So does mine, but most of the time it works, so I'm all right with it.
We're not trying to pick out the pickiest guys, just ones that are good for a good time.
So kind of what I wanted to do, Mark, again, like I said, but didn't you do some natural voice stuff too?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, because the one thing that I recall from the first time when we were at David Oliver's there in Arkansas is you gobbled one time when you were standing next to me, and I was like, holy shit, that guy is crazy.
I used to call a lot with my voice. I won the World Voice Calling Championship in 89, 90, and 91. I won it 3 years in a row. And then I just stopped doing it because I had so much trouble with my vocal cords. I still do to this day. That last year I won, I went 2 weeks after that and couldn't utter a sound. I'd strained them so bad. I had to go to an ear, nose, and throat specialist. He was like, you really need to stop or you're going to do even more damage. You've already damaged your vocal cords. And since then I've been, I have a lot of trouble like with public speaking or even this podcast. Like when I go home today, I'll have a touch of a sore throat just from any elongated speaking event. Yeah. So I don't do a lot of speaking events for that reason. Like any big talking days, you know, because I do definitely feel it. I just strained it that last year.
That's crazy. I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah, it was rough because we had to key and fly down cackle and gobble and cluck and purr and all that stuff, and I was able to do it all, but not after that last year.
Yeah, no
I
kidding.
just stopped doing it.
Oh,
So let's flip to real life, though. Real life turkeys. And because one of the things about our podcast is we feel like that every time we do a podcast, we try to make sure we're giving someone something they can take away and apply it to them. And not that the knowledge that you have and some of the stuff that we have doesn't help. But if you were to meet someone brand new right now, is it imperative that they become as good as some? Maybe they're never going to be anywhere close to these guys you're mentioning, but do they have to be absolutely crazy good to be able to kill a turkey?
No, you don't. I mean, you need the right rhythm and a basic turkey sound to kill turkeys. However, what I've seen through the years, those guys that are passionate enough about it to take it to the next level and be able to call competitively or just call very well in their peer group, they're generally the guy that's passionate enough about it to spend the time out in the woods and get better at all the other things that go along with turkey hunting. So I think the two go hand in hand. There's guys that are casual hunters that are going to hunt 1 or 2 days a year, and they're going to pick up their call the day before and, that sounds good enough, and go out and maybe they kill a turkey, maybe they don't. And then there's other guys that are just head over heels and they're driving down the road trying to get better and better and better. And I think the more passionate you are about the sport in general, the better caller you become, and thusly probably a little bit perhaps better in the woods.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean,
Is that fair from what you've seen?
yes, absolutely. And because I think you see the some people are just terrified of it. And that's what I try, like when we do our seminars and stuff like that, you just try to explain to someone, I think what the key, I think the number one thing that you said was, it's not necessarily how well you do it, but your timing. And what Warren was talking about, it's when you call and that you at least got the cadence down. I mean, you got to have the right rhythm and everything. But if you cluck when maybe you should have purred, or you cut when you should have clucked, maybe that doesn't make that big a difference, as long as you're able to get across to that bird that, hey, you're still here and you sound like you're somewhat realistic.
Certainly. I think a mistake I see guys make, especially novices, is they call too loudly, especially if it's calm, and if you listen to hen turkeys when they're calling out in the woods, they're never overly loud. A few times of the year they are. Early morning they can be aggressive if there's other turkeys around, but in general, turkeys are rather quiet 99% of their life, More often than not, they're not calling at all. So your best bet is to start at the bottom rung of that ladder and kind of work your way up slowly.
So the more you have come in close to, like when they're very close to you,
some subtle stuff going on.
That's where I've learned the most about what kind of different sounds they're making.
Yeah, they're very subtle.
Yeah,
Stuff you don't hear when they're
really soft. Yeah. So you can kill a lot of turkeys without even a call and just scratching in the leaves, or a hat, sounding like a turkey flying down in the morning. So some of those sounds will help you kill turkeys if you're not good at calling. But anybody can go get a push button or a box call and make basic sounds and be decent at it,
Yeah, they've come a long way with calls.
There's a lot of great devices out there.
I mean, that you can be able to imitate a turkey pretty easily.
Big time.
But
if you take just a little time to practice.
Yeah. And that's where, like, these podcast thing now, this takes the place of mine. Was when I was first started turkey calling. Matter of fact, it was some of yours, Will Primos, and those guys were putting out videos, and it wasn't so much the guys that I was watching. Everyone would do a segment where they would show hens.
Yep.
And I'm talking VHS. Rewind, play, rewind, play. And so I was in my basement. My mom hated me. She was like, I've had enough of this. Mm-hmm. Well, then I graduated to a cassette tape, and then I could put it in my truck and I could go down the road. Well, then that meant, though, I had to learn how to blow a diaphragm call, because you can't run a slate call while you're driving down the road.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the progression for me that it was. And I'm not a great caller, but I would say I'm above average, but
you're a pretty good caller.
But
yeah, outside of maybe not winning a world championship somewhere.
Well, but I'm, like you said, I like it. You know what I'm saying? I'm passionate about. I want to. Like when I hear them do something, like Nick will get something on film, and then hey, cut me that piece. I want to listen to this.
Their vocabulary is fascinating to me. Fascinating.
Yeah, it's hard to figure out what all their vocabulary is.
Not for me. I know exactly what their vocabulary is to me.
You suck.
Exactly. It's 2 words. F you. Constantly.
Warren has not had great luck with.
I'm sorry.
Have you ever tried gobbling at them?
Certainly. I've tried just about everything you can at a turkey.
Does it ever work?
Yeah, sometimes it works great.
Kind of like bugling at a bull?
I don't think it would have the same amount of positive responses that bugling at a bull would.
Yeah.
But you can have positive responses to it. I saw that Bo Brooks just came out with that with power calls, that gobbling tube. I don't know if you've seen him running that on. Boy, that's the best one I've heard in a long time. It's like a reed call.
Yeah.
Looks like a goose call. Boy, it sounds great.
Really?
It's really good. Yep.
Do you know how many turkeys you've killed?
Me?
Yeah.
Not enough.
See, I just want everybody to know what they're getting to listen to. That you've got.
I mean, I hunt a lot of states, and I take a lot of people. I'll hunt, 45, 50, maybe 60 days of spring, probably closer to 60. And each spring I see quite a few die. But I take some, we try to kill or take kids or take new hunters or just have a lot of fun with it and try to introduce new people to the sport. So doing that, you see a lot. And I'm also surrounded by great turkey hunters, like I get to hunt with some of the best turkey hunters in the country each year. So this year I got Rob Kekin and Paul Butsky at the same time.
Oh, that'd be fun.
We are going to have a blast.
So they're coming to you?
They're coming to Iowa. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So, all right. Well, now Warren kind of started. I got to ask this question: favorite place to hunt a turkey?
Well, Iowa, southern Iowa.
Is it?
Oh yeah,
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Really?
100%.
Why?
Just big Easterns, loud.
Yeah.
Is there a difference between early and late in the season? Would you like a preference?
Both. I prefer first season and fourth.
Okay.
Me personally. Second and third, you can still succeed, but they're more henned up. I like before they get with the hens or after. But yeah, fourth is probably best. Temperatures, weather's better, more predictable.
I like the Miriams
Yeah.
I do too.
because they're dumb. they're not. I don't think very many turkeys are dumb, but Miriams are a lot more fired up. It seems like.
If you're into them, certainly. There's a lot of
Yeah.
places that look like they should have them that don't. It's kind of like elk hunting. You got to travel quite a ways to find those Merriams sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
boy,
then
they're
your
fun when you find them.
Favorite species is Easterns then?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Man, back in the
Absolutely.
day, I'm sure you were going to Nebraska when, I guess
I
that was,
was.
what, 15 years ago now when it was so good?
Oh yeah.
I'd say more 10,
Yeah.
12 years ago.
Were you finding many other places that were comparable to Nebraska at that time? Because it seemed like when we were going there, I mean, it was just
Yeah,
so
I mean,
many
yeah,
birds.
Southern Iowa I've always felt was like the mecca of Eastern turkey hunting. I've always
Really?
felt like Iowa was the king for Easterns.
Yeah.
Northern Missouri as well. Texas, there's a lot of places down there that are really good for Rio Grandes, but Nebraska was fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Rios seem pretty aggressive too. I've only hunted them a few
They
times.
can
but-
be if you catch them in the right mood.
Okay.
They're all a little finicky when they're henned up.
Yeah.
Yep, they're all kind of touchy when they're henned up.
See, our big thing was we started going to Nebraska because they would open so early, March 25th. Yeah, and we
For the
lived in
archery.
Montana, and
For
we
the
would go
archery.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
And at the
We're at
time,
Montana.
well, we lived in Great Falls. That's where I was firefighter, retired from there. Then we moved to the northwest corner, so we were up above Glacier Park.
Wow.
We were only 35 miles from Eureka, so we were just outside of Canada.
Wow, you were.
So to go to Nebraska hunting, it was 8.5 hour drive. I mean, even though it borders Montana, but it
Wow.
would take us forever. But anyhow, these two, I mean, I want them to hunt with me, right? Well, they won't let them hunt in Montana until they're 12.
So you took them there.
So I took them there, and I was like, all right, here we're going to start this. I started with Warren, and we had a freaking ball. It was maybe the funnest thing that you could ever do with your kid if you were a hunter, as far as it would be me, him, and one other buddy. Jim would go with us, and the three of us would go. And the thing was, they didn't have to buy a license. They just had to buy the tag, and it was $7. And so for $21, he could kill 3 turkeys. So we'd have a whole pile of arrows because Warren was notorious for getting a little excited on the turkey thing, you know. But anyhow, long story short, you and Jim, I think every single trip, I would let them shoot first, and they would both miss. Just complete, like it's
At least one,
At least
usually.
one
Yeah.
before I would ever get started, because we technically should have killed 9 turkeys with our bows in 2 days. There was that many turkeys. We were like, it was.
Like if you went today, you would kill 9. If it was like that and you went today, given your skill set, you'd probably kill 9.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was. I mean, when you were seeing 25 and 30 toms strutting,
Yeah.
you know, it wasn't like, well, we got to go find
And
one.
you were in the northwest part.
Northwest, out by Shadron at the time.
I think
you
it's
know.
real good again up there from what I've heard.
Yeah, I think all of it. I think just in the couple years now that they cut back on the number, went to 2, and then I'm hearing lots of good things.
Same.
Problem
really
is,
good things.
if you're listening to this podcast, you already missed the draw this year, and you better be ready next year because it was like that.
Yeah, went quick.
Have you
And
ever
what's the
hunted-
limit now, too?
2.
Have you ever hunted Idaho?
I have. Yeah, last year.
Was it good to you?
It was amazing.
Yeah, that's what our experience was. So one in Northwest,
People don't know it.
where we lived in Montana, Northwest
Can you
corner.
cut that out?
Yeah, yeah, we can. We had Eastern.
I
Probably
should have
will.
said, yes, it was horrible.
So that we actually had Easterns up there, but then we also had really good turkey hunting on the near like
East
Miles
side.
City.
Yeah, those were Miriams over there.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people
Right.
don't know that Montana and Idaho have some eastern birds.
They do.
From what I understand, it was
Idaho does too.
I think some of those got across right there in the Panhandle because they came out of Montana. But according to Montana DNR, Fish, Wildlife, and Parks up there, they said that whole strain came from a doctor. He started reintroducing him himself. They threatened to fine him and everything, but he had enough money. He just kept buying turkeys
I'll be
and
damned.
kept letting them go until they took off in the Flathead Valley.
How about it?
And then that kind of exploded on them. So when you get up there, you know, everyone knows. You think of Montana, you think of beautiful
Sure,
white
yep,
tail
yep.
feathers,
You
and
betcha.
all of a sudden here's this big thundering gobble. I was like, that doesn't sound like a daggone Miriam,
Right,
you know? And then we killed one or two, and I'm like, these are not Miriams.
Pretty cool.
They're probably kind of a little bit of a cross. I don't know that they.
They don't quite sound exactly like our Easterns, but they don't sound like those Merriams either.
Yes.
They sound more like an Eastern than they do a Merriam, I guess you'd say. Yeah,
for sure.
it's pretty. We've killed some Easterns out there in Montana.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
What's the most berserk turkey you've ever seen?
Berserk?
Berserk, like one who's just lost his mind.
I don't know. Can't think of that one per se. I mean,
Have you ever had one fly in?
oh, of course.
Of course.
Yes. I mean,
We've had one. How many of you?
It's like our one story to tell about it.
you know,
Like not necessarily just off the
here's
roost.
a great story. Myself and Tad Brown and Dick Kirby. This is early '90s, and Dick has since passed. I don't know if you know the Quaker boy.
I do.
You know Dick, or knew Dick.
Yep.
And we were hunting on public ground down around Warsaw, Missouri, and it was the Missouri Invitational Celebrity Turkey Hunt. And Dick was the celebrity. Tad and I were guiding him. So Dick kills one that morning. We go back to town. We check it in and get it scored for the competition. Then Dick's like, let's go back out. So we go back out, and Tad kills a bird on public ground, and then we struck another bird across the river. So we start working him, and he wouldn't come. So we go way upstream and we cross this stupid river, and the three of us get over there. And when we got there, he was where we were. And we were like, well, if he did it once, he's going to do it again. And then we called him back across the river. So he flew that river twice that day, and we killed him. But yeah, I mean, fences, rivers. I've had him fly from one ridge to the other. Wisconsin, those ridges are really steep up there. I've had him fly off the top and fly down into our calling position. That was one thing we learned about hunting those big coulees. Like when it's tough to get to them, just stay where you're at and try to get them to come to you. And those birds are more likely to fly from one ridge to the other than they are to make the trek up and then
Walking the whole way.
way because they want to get to you if they're in the right mood.
Interesting.
They don't like to fly to cover ground, but they will in certain situations. It's very situational.
Yeah.
Most of your turkey hunts not going to be that way, but certain situations like the ones I just described, they can do it.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, we've had more than one fly. I mean, so my dad was not a hunter. My dad was he was a great dad, but he was more of camp cook. He wanted to make sure his son got to go, and my brother got me into hunting. Well, anyhow, finally, several years into my hunting career, I'm now living in Montana. I'm a pro staffer for Primos.
I remember that.
So I'm traveling to do elk seminars, but it was spring, and so I told my dad, I said, we should try to kill a turkey. And he's like, what? And I told him, I said, I think we could do that. I have a farm where I think that there's some birds, and he's like, I don't know, it's going to be cold. And, and I was like, well, as we drove over, so I lived in Great Falls, we're going to Billings. It's about a 2.5 hour drive. And as we go by, we're going to go by the farm. And I told him, I said, let's just see if there's birds there. If there's birds there, then we're going to go buy you a tag and we're going to try this. And he said, okay. So we pull up and I do what you should never, ever do. I roll the window down on the truck. Just made one call just to see if I could let him hear a turkey. And this bird gobbles and he's like barely out of sight. And next thing I know, he comes walking out. And we sit there and let him strut around the truck.
Sure.
We're not doing it. And my dad's like, well, gosh, damn, this is going to be easy. And I was like, Dad, we're going to be back in 2 days. I don't know if he'll still be here, So anyhow, we come back, long story short, he says, I'll do it. And we sit down and a bird gobbles. And I'm like, I think I got a chance to call my dad in a turkey. Well, at the time, we don't have raised hunting. This is long before that. I got a handy cam, though. And I'm going to film this hunt of him killing a turkey. I don't know the farm that well where this bird had gobbled at. So when we sat down and it starts to get daylight, I realized, oh no, big pond right in front of us. And the bird is on the other side of the pond and we're uphill from him. I'm like, there's no way he can fly across this. But anyhow, he's gobbling like he's going to come. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to keep trying. My dad's like, you better hurry up and get this damn bird in here. I'm getting cold, And I was like, okay. So I'm doing what I can. And then I look down and my dad would not wear his hearing aids ever. And he's got his daggone hearing aids in. And I was like, gosh dang, he's taking this serious. He's like, because I questioned him when I said, did you hear that? Damn right I heard that. And I didn't know how he could hear so well. And then I see those. So I immediately thought, I'm sitting right over his shoulder. I mean, I'm right next to him because I think I got to whisper everything to him. And I got that camera right next to his hearing aid, and I'm afraid it's going to cause it to start squealing. And so I turned the camera off, and I said, we're just going to see if we can kill Dad a turkey. And I made a couple more calls. And next thing I know, I see this bird flying at us, and he lands right in front of us. And I was like, oh my gosh, he is here. And he just immediately strutting. And I've already gone through where you shoot him and everything. And he unleashes a 12 gauge on that bird right dead in the middle of the body at like 12 yards. And feathers went everywhere. And we get over there, and he kills this bird. It's got 1/2 inch spurs or 3/4 inch spurs and everything, but it didn't got a beard one. No beard on it whatsoever. And that was my dad's only first and last turkey hunt.
Sure he didn't shoot the beard off?
No, he didn't. He shot, I mean, it was like a wad went into the turkey on the wing, you know. So
Those Merriam turkeys don't have great beards anyway.
no,
So it's and they go through rough winters and snow and stuff. So
drag off.
it's not uncommon to not see one without a beard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Certainly.
But anyhow, I know the one Warren was referring to because he was asked about Idaho. We had one fly in, and it was like a duck, because him and I were outside the blind, and we see this bird flying down, and he looks and sees the decoy. And when he saw the decoy, it was like, whoop, and just dropped in on him. And
Well, it pitched off the peak of a mountain.
That was the most incredible
It's similar to
thing
what
I've
I was
ever seen.
saying in Minnesota and Wisconsin. It's so steep, it's much easier point A to point B to just fly as opposed to
Yeah.
walk it, you know?
Yeah, but I'd never seen anything like that. And so, and then when we were in the blind, all we could see was just a shadow. So we just see a shadow and just hear, and then I'm telling my mom, I'm like, I think that was the turkey. And then I look over and like, sure enough, here he comes.
Awesome.
it was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't happen very often. So what do you, let me ask you this question, Mark. This is not, I had some questions written, but what do you think causes a bird to, like when Warren asked the crazy, because we've had some turkeys that just went absolutely berserk, like just gobble, gobble, gobble,
Sure,
whether you're
yeah.
calling or not.
Yeah.
And then you'll get another one that,
I do have an answer for that question now. But you asked me the most berserk turkey. I spent 13 hours on one turkey. If he gobbled once, he gobbled 1,000 times that day, and we could not kill him. It was myself and Chuck Sykes in Alabama, and where they typically aren't very vocal. And that turkey literally gobbled. And I thought he was going to choke himself to death, but we couldn't get him to come in. And we tried everything. We tried multiple positions, and we just couldn't get him in. But that was the gobblingest turkey I've ever hunted in my life. And we spent the entire day on him. The next day I had to fly out. So he went to bed gobbling that night. And we got out of there, and Chuck went back the next day, and the same thing. He couldn't get him to come in, and they never did kill that turkey. It was on his dad's place. So that was the goofiest turkey I ever hunted, because typically middle of the day they take a little break. This turkey did not take a break the entire day, and we just couldn't kill him.
Think he had hens or been educated?
I don't think he did. I don't think he would have gobbled that much. I have no idea why he wouldn't come in. There wasn't a fence. We caught glimpses of his fan multiple times, but just couldn't get him in.
We have a theory that we call the chicken bird, which I'd be curious to see if you've experienced or would say that it's true, which is basically when, you're in a setup and you'll have a bird that is callable and he'll come in, but when he gets the decoys, and I'm not necessarily talking about just one that's been educated, that no matter what, he will not.
Oh, absolutely. Shy on decoys? Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's common. Because if you look at the overall structure of how the spring goes down, at first, a lot of them are a little groupy, right? And they're establishing pecking order, and they reestablish it. Well, much of the spring turkey season happens when they're all busted up, right? And they've already gone through the pecking order. So somebody won that battle, and a lot of them have lost. And oftentimes the ones that won are with the hens and aren't gobbling much, and the ones that lost are the ones gobbling looking for a hen. But then they get there, and I've seen them come to fields where it's not decoys, but it's other turkeys, and they shy away because they've had their butt whooped over and over and over by those bigger boss gobblers. So people go, well, they're decoy shy. They're probably not. They're just subordinate and don't want to get beat up again.
Is there any way to kill those birds, or just don't even waste your time with them?
Get rid of the decoy and don't call so much when he's on his way in. Let him find you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the best way to kill a turkey there is. Like, no decoys, calling, working him. Once you feel like he's broken coming, just shut up and let him come find you.
Look.
It's hard for people to do because you want to call, you want to hear them gobble and whatnot. But boy, if you'll just shut up more often than not, they'll come and seek you out. Might take a while, but they'll do it. Or go to scratching and just real soft stuff.
And so from that point, when you decide it's time to shut up, how long should you be giving them?
It depends on the pace. It's all situational with turkey hunting, right? So it depends on the weather. It depends on the pace that gobbler was coming to begin with. But, normally they're there within 5 minutes to a half an hour. Depends if he's strutting and walking or if he's just walking.
Right.
You know, a strutting walking gobbler, oftentimes an older turkey, sometimes takes a long time to get to you.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of patience to kill some old birds sometimes. I'd hate to guess how many times we collectively work a bird and lose patience and get up and leave. If we were smart, we'd take a trail camera and place it at our tree just to go back and check how many showed
How
up.
long?
We talked about that last year.
Or how many
That's
come
kind
to
of a
you.
method of mine.
30 minutes later, an hour later, hour and a half. We're not patient enough.
He's the only reason I make it 40 minutes. Because if I could have it my way with turkeys, it'd be like, I want the ones that run in, and I'd give them 10 minutes.
Like a coyote set.
Yeah, pretty much. But after hunting with him for so long, he would always make us wait. He'd be like, no, we need to wait. And then we'd get to the 30 minutes. And, like that was our rule of thumb. I was like, it's the 30 minutes. He's like, no, we just need to wait. We'd wait another 30 minutes. And all of a sudden, there he was.
Yep.
And he kills a lot of them because he's willing to be patient.
So I do. I tell people that is a tactic of mine where
Just wait.
especially if you get, and I do it on elk. I felt like I kind of honed it in on elk. I would get a bull that was responding, but he didn't come in. And for whatever reason, we would move or we would do something else. Next thing you know, he's bugling right where you were. And I was like, all right, I'm done with this. And so I got a buddy that's a taxidermist out in Great Falls. And so I told Waylon one day, I was like, we're going to stay. And he's like, how long? And I said, I don't know. I just feel like that bull knew we were here. So we're going to see if this works. And it wasn't maybe 35, 40 minutes. We had just kind of given up. Now we had not, and you don't make another call. You're not there anymore. And I feel like the bulls, what they're doing is they're coming in and scent checking. Okay, we heard cows over here. We heard a bull over here. I'm going to come in and see if I can peel someone off here. And here he comes doing like this, walk. Well, the problem was we had just decided we'd waited long enough, and I'm in front of him. He's the shooter, and he can't shoot through me. And this bull walks through 20 yards and standing there looking at us. And I'm like, and, do you need me to move? And, I'm trying to whisper to him. And at that point, the bull saw us. But I started applying that for turkeys, like what Warren's talking about. And then I think eventually, too, you kind of, what you talked about here just a second ago, talking about like calling and then they come in and you're not calling as much and make them look for you. If you do enough scouting, you can kind of figure those birds are habitual. They want to go back
100%.
to the same spot. And I think of the afternoon that me and you set up that time. And those birds came from over by the road. And I told Warren, I said, I saw them. They're over there. They're like 400 or 500 yards from us, but they're going to be here. And we sat there. And he's like, this sucks, Dad. And I was like, just hang on, And sure enough, it was like 35, 40 minutes before sun goes down, and they start moving. And I was like, here they come. And the hens popped up. And then I didn't know they had hens. So then I was like, oh, maybe we just messed up. And then the toms came in and it just so happened they got between us. And we had decoys out, though. And then those toms couldn't resist it. They were like, okay, you guys are not supposed to be here. We know who all's here. So, yeah, I mean, and again, now there's a situation. I would tell you, you don't have to be a great caller. If you would put in the time and effort to know where they want to be, maybe you make a few. You want to let them know that there's a turkey there, or I do, but you don't have to be a super, super good caller.
Not at all.
You could get away with it. So
Patience like that will kill a lot of turkeys in time, but also aggression will kill a lot of turkeys in time. The key is knowing when to apply which tactic.
Yeah.
And you got to kind of read the room, if you will, and decide, are these turkeys all henned up? Because if they are, chances are patience is going to be your best tactic. If they're starting to free up later on in the morning, you might want to cover ground if you've got ground to cover. It just depends on what they're doing, where you're at in the mating, what the weather's like, and decide which tactic's best.
So how much do you think the weather affects them? And then
Huge.
What is ideal weather? What's bad weather?
Almost opposite of deer. Give me a cold front for deer. Give me a warm front for turkeys. I kill so many turkeys on south winds. Warm days, south winds. They love them. Cold fronts, generally north wind is awfully tough day to go turkey out in there. Oftentimes shuts them up, especially in Iowa when you get those strong north to northwest in the spring and it's been warm, it'll shut them down pretty quick. You can still kill them, but they're not nearly as vocal on a warm front. They love warm days.
What about rain?
Shuts them up more often than not.
Okay.
Thunder will make them gobble, but so many turkeys I've been hunting, and you're going to deal with rain, right? It's spring, so you're going to deal with it. Your best bet is to let it rain go back to that turkey because he's still right there in that mood. Give it at least an hour after that rain ends, 45 minutes to an hour, because they're going to preen for about that long, and then they start getting active again. But give it an hour.
That makes sense.
They're preening. Watch them in a field right after rain. They're all standing there preening.
Thinking about that, all of them, all of my recent ones I can think about conveniently are, unless they were like right away in the morning or something like that. I've got a lot of middle of the day when it's really warm and they're alone.
Yep.
Without other hens.
For sure.
Yep.
But so when we were hunting Nebraska several years, you could see a lot of those turkeys. You could see what was going on, and the one that kind of like sealed the deal for me on weather was he and I. In that buddy, we pull up to this spot, which we didn't know. It was public. It was one of those sign-in things, you could just sign in and go. So we weren't sure, but there's 20, 25 toms. I mean, there was turkeys all over this field, and they were strutting, and they're doing their thing. But it was, this is early March 25th, 26th. So it might have been 50, 55 degrees, but it's sunny. This wind's not blowing. By the time we figured out that this was a legal place that we could go hunting, we were 2 or 3 hours later, and we get back over there. Now it clouded up, and it starts to spit snow a little bit. By the time we got the blind set up and got everything situated to try to call these turkeys in, now we have like 150 turkeys in this field. Not one is strutting. They're all just like went to eating. Winter. And I've really felt like they went back to their winter I got to live. And and that's when
we had 40 or 50 hens in the decoys.
Well, not only that, cold weather plus timing, they haven't even broke up yet, so it's just not time, right? It's just a touch early. So you add cold to that, and you really got a tough situation, So turkey hunting, particularly in the Midwest here, if you take the first couple weeks of April, that's a really good time to call a turkey in if the weather's right, because the flocks are breaking up and they're establishing dominance, and the mature toms or the dominant toms are getting with the hen groups. And then you take the second 2 weeks of April, there's a lot, that's peak breeding, right? From really about the 20th through, call it May 5th, that's peak breeding for turkey hunting. So your tactics probably need to switch from the first couple weeks to the next couple weeks. And then you get into May, and they're really starting to lose their hens. Hens are on their nest and whatnot, and that's a different tactic altogether. So there's different phases of the hunt. It really depends which phase you're in and exactly what they're doing. And the best way to look at it is just watch what they do from year to year, because they're pretty consistent. You'll have a little bit of an earlier spring or a little bit of a later spring, but in general, they stay pretty consistent with what they're doing and where they spend their time.
Yeah.
So and now I know what your answer is going to be on this one. We asked where's one of your favorite place to hunt. You obviously said Iowa, but hardest
Place to hunt? The only state I ever went to that I didn't kill a turkey there 4 days was Vermont. I hunted my tail off in the state of Vermont on every single piece of open ground I could hunt, and I don't think we even worked a turkey. It was late May, and I don't know that we even worked a turkey. So that state always reminds me of how tough they can be.
Right.
The Southeast can be challenging just because they're not overly vocal down there. They've been hunting them down there for many, many, many years, much longer than we have here in the Midwest. And they just don't gobble nearly as much. Things have to be perfect down there. Great weather, no hens, and the turkey in a great mood,
Yeah.
And then they might still only gobble 5, 10, 15 times, or still maybe none. They're not very vocal down there. That can be a tough go. But those would probably be my toughest places, would either be somewhere in the Southeast. Although we had good luck down there, but you don't have as much good luck as you would say in the Midwest or out West or in Texas. So, but Vermont was a booger. New York was great. Loved New York. A lot of fun up there.
I
Killed
hadn't
a bunch
thought about
over there.
birds in the Northeast.
Oh yeah. Well, Virginia is not really Northeast. It's kind of getting there.
Yeah, but there's a lot of turkeys in Virginia.
Yeah, that's where I started, but not different parts, just depending on where it was, And I feel like the farther south you went, the better it got, or toward the east, over toward the coast.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get in. But you could have totally different kind of hunt. You could have a mountain type hunt, in the Blue Ridge Mountains or along the Appalachian Trail even, and it was totally different than what you were dealing with in the swamp grounds.
Right,
You could
yeah.
have all that in Virginia. So
Yeah.
it was good.
Beautiful state, Virginia.
Yeah, but I would say all those eastern birds back there, and I agree with you. The size here is crazy.
Awesome.
They're
Big, man.
You got him and his wife have killed the two biggest 29 pounds.
Awesome.
30. I thought they broke 30, didn't they?
I don't
Somebody-
think
hers
we've
did.
ever broke the
Those
30
are big
mark.
turkeys. We've not broken the 30. We had 129 once and a few 28s.
Well, they killed the two 29s in the same year.
That's
so it must have been
unheard of.
good food.
Yeah, it must have been really good.
So
The one
Last year
Alyssa's was crazy though, because then I killed a tom that afternoon or something, and we took pictures together, and mine looks like a chicken. I mean, it's unbelievable the size difference in the two.
Sure.
It was crazy, but I'll see if I can find that picture here in a minute because
it was a giant turkey.
29 is unheard of, man.
Yeah,
I mean, the average, I'd say the average in I is probably maybe about 22 or 23. 29, that's 20% bigger.
yeah,
We're killed.
And you get other adult gobblers that are 17, 18 pounds.
Yeah.
That's what I'm normally.
Well,
the
Miriam's-
ones is 20, like 21, something
21,
like that.
22. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Miriam's are even thinner.
Yeah, they're little.
18 pounds, something
Yeah.
like that.
We've killed some big ones, 21, 22, but I'd say the bulk of those are 18, 19 pounds.
Yep.
The bulk.
On some of your land, do you do anything specifically as far as planting something
Clover.
previous year or
For
okay,
turkeys,
Clover,
clover. That and habitat for nesting. We work really hard on our habitat with as much cover and brooding habitat as we possibly can with burns and
Yep.
warm season grasses, and we work really hard. And that we murder the nest predators.
Yeah.
We're hell on coons and
Trapping or just go out
trapping,
calling them?
but
or
both, but mostly trapping.
how many are you guys killing?
Coons,
Yeah,
a lot, a lot. I don't know. I haven't kept track, but we work on them pretty heavy.
Yeah, we need to kill a lot more.
Yeah, that's something.
You can't kill enough.
Yeah, at 1 year I trapped just at my house, at my house. Like had a trap outside my house and out by my shop, and I had 80 something.
Yeah.
And then I let the neighbor kid trap, and he trapped 115. So we killed 200 coons on a 50-acre piece.
Well, I asked Tad about that once. Tad's a big trapper and predator caller, and we had a barn where we had a bunch of feed and stuff stored, and these coons kept getting into it, and it was our seed, and so we started trapping them, right? Just nuisance trapping them. We caught like 200 there this summer, and I was like, Tad, can this be possible? He said, coons are like, their home range is like 20 square miles. He goes, that's why they won't quit coming. So, which is kind of,
cow, I did not know that.
if you're a turkey hunter, they're coming to you, so you can do a lot of good in a small acreage or a small parcel. Right. You can do a lot of turkeys, a lot of good because they move around so much. They got a huge home range. I didn't know that about raccoons. Tad was the one who told me that.
I would never guess that.
Yeah, I wouldn't have either. It blew me away. I didn't know that.
Well,
but it explains it. Oh, look at that. Yeah. And this one's 29, and yours, do you know did you weigh it? Was it like 20 or something?
I can't remember. I was too embarrassed to weigh it.
Oh, they're both beautiful big turkeys. It's a
Yeah.
great picture, by the way. It's beautiful.
Yeah, hers was crazy though.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But
so
So keep trapping those coons. And
Yeah.
the other thing, Toxie told me one time, he goes, to do good for your turkeys, he said, trapping coons is like mowing your lawn. He goes, you need to mow it right before the season because they do move around so much. Like you catch a bunch in the winter, you go, well, I did my part for the turkeys. There may be just as many there in April as there was in December or January because they backfill so good, especially in good habitat where coons like to be. Don't be afraid to continue that trapping all the way up till you legally can.
Yeah.
I hope that someday, not because I want the money, I hope that they'll put some kind of dollar back on them.
It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Because then I think we get some more kids back out there doing it. Because I think they were helping the turkey hunting.
Absolutely.
Phenomenally.
It tanked when you get nothing for a hide.
Yeah,
Nobody
I mean,
traps anymore.
What a great way for people to learn about the outdoors too.
Absolutely.
And to be outdoors
100%.
daily,
Yep.
learning. You learn the most when you're out there, and when you're out there trapping, you got to check them every day. So you're learning a lot. I agree with you. I hope it does come back, or perhaps a bounty or something like that.
It wouldn't.
I think a state did that, didn't it? North Dakota, South Dakota. One of those two states put a bounty on coons and paid $3 or $5 a tail. I think it was And I could be wrong. I thought I read it was North Dakota, and they were paying $3 a tail.
There's
Something
been
like that.
quite a few places that have been doing that. There's even been some in Iowa local governments that have
Doing it.
offered something to a limit per person, but it's like $3 to $5 a tail.
Sweet.
And you bring it in, and they've
Big deal.
got it approved. Yeah.
They did that coon hunt in North Missouri last year and got like 850 or 900 coons in a weekend. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
A
good.
Turkey
the-
Federation put it on. A chapter did it.
With how popular coyote hunting stuff has gotten too in tournaments,
Absolutely.
with the extras you can get in your tournaments for coons and everything too, has been. I would think that helps.
Big
Because
time.
originally they're not trying to shoot anything besides coyote, but now they'll shoot.
shoot
they'll
'em
pile
all.
them all up. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good thing.
Yep.
Yep.
A real
For
good
sure.
thing. You wonder about all the winter activities that when I was like, when David and I were in our, call it teens and 20s, we didn't hear a lot of people out coyote hunting or coon hunting. And you wonder between the shed hunting, coyote hunting, coon hunting, what additional stress are we putting on our whitetail herd, and does that affect overall health? I think about that often. The winter activities.
There's a lot more. There's not much of a break for them anymore.
There's people in the woods. They don't know whether they're being hunted or not. People in the woods are people in the woods, and it's stress for them. So, are we contributing to that health problem we talked about before we started the turkey podcast? So, I think it could.
For sure.
Stress is stress,
Now, the one thing, though,
particularly the shed hunting.
well, this is off topic, but I know that, but when we were talking about EHD, they deal with EHD in the Southeast, but they don't have a problem with it. And what I've been told, it's because
Greater immunity.
it's always there. So, but our problem is it's not always here. We get
Right.
a year where it's bad, or a couple, 2 years, 3 years, but then it goes away and we don't have it for a couple of years. So then those deer don't know, and then here it comes back and it kills them all again.
Yeah.
Brian,
Brian Murphy, I saw him at SHOT Show about 6 or 7 years ago, and we were talking about that very subject, and he goes, we're starting to see more die-offs in the Southeast in certain pockets. He said the cattle trade with South America has introduced some new versions. He said that our deer do not have any immunity to whatsoever, and he said we're starting to see die-offs where we've never seen them, and he goes, when this reaches the Midwest, it's going to be really, really bad.
Really bad. Yeah.
That was 5, 6, 7 years ago he told me that, and I'm like, I think
Now you're pooping your pants every year.
yeah, I think that was prophetic, you know, and I think that's probably happening up here.
Yeah.
As the cattle move around the country, they're great carriers of it, but it doesn't affect them or kill them like it does the deer. So I've noticed my farms that are closer to cattle, big cattle areas, generally get it a little bit more than others. Maybe that's coincidental. Maybe there's something to it, but it makes sense that they could be carrying different strains.
Yeah.
for sure.
What were you going to say? The shed hunting, you think the shed hunting makes a big impact on the stress of the deer?
I think it could, right? I mean, think of how often guys are walking woods that previously didn't get walked. You know, it's a lot of intrusion.
Oh,
I think it could. Whether it is or not, I don't know. I couldn't prove it, but in theory, it makes sense.
Do you think there's a lot of guys that are going that early, or do you think that even in like March and stuff, it still stresses those deer out to the same extent?
I would think it'd be worse in March. I mean, that's the end of the winter before spring green up. Like, I think when they're at their weakest in March, probably,
Really?
Absolutely, because they haven't had green, they haven't had any new food. And then April hits, then you got all that regeneration, and all of a sudden they finally made it to where there's an abundance of food as opposed to very limited sources of food. So I think March would be a really tough time for them.
That would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Are we
Hold
going
on.
to deer or turkeys?
No, we're going to save this.
I didn't mean to digress.
No, you're all good.
You can tell where all our heads are really at.
Yeah, no.
Oh, mine's on turkey.
But we'll get him back here for deer, so we'll just have to do that at a different time. But so we talked. I mean, you've mentioned them. Do you use decoys, or do you like decoys, or do you dislike decoys?
Love them in certain situations. It's very situational. Whether it's a hen decoy, a hen and a jake, a strutting gobbler type decoy, or a fan, it's all situational to us. Like, there's certain situations that we get them out and use it, and other situations where I wouldn't think about it. Just like peak breeding, when gobblers are coming in quiet, that type of stuff. I don't want them to pop in and see a decoy. I'm also like situational from a setup standpoint. Like, my favorite setup is where the gobbler is within range when he's coming to see you. So I want him coming from his position into my position, but when he gets there to where he can see me, I can shoot him, if that makes sense. I want him popping over a hill or coming around a corner or coming out of a ravine. I want to be able to kill him when I can see him. And if I'm in open country where that's not possible, I'm much more likely to have a decoy out to give me a little bit of a visual aid, for sure. So,
So
Kind
you're
of
relying on
distract him a
tighter.
little bit.
Yeah.
And keep where it doesn't pick up on
or
you.
pull him from a greater distance. Like,
Yes.
because if you're out calling and he doesn't see the hen present, you either got to shut up, make him come looking, or have a visual aid to help you a little bit.
So in thicker or tighter quarters, you're not necessarily for the sake of you wanting to be able to shoot them in distance when they show up, but more for the sake of they can't see as far either, so they're having to come look better.
Come look for you. Yeah.
And then in the open area, you're giving them something to be able to.
I've had him shock on that decoy in tight quarters too. Like
where it surprises them. And they're just
for whatever reason, and they'll stop and turn and shy. So
Yep.
I'd much rather, like, if you can hear him coming or guess that he's getting close based on timing, just shut up and let him come find you. That's the best way to kill a turkey there is. That quietness, that last 50 yards for him, kills a lot of turkeys. A lot.
I think that's a really, really common mistake, including myself, that
People
I do it in thick,
just call
areas.
and think. They think it's like reeling a reel with a bass on it, right? The faster I reel and the harder I reel, the quicker I get to see this bass. But it's not the same with turkeys. Like, stop reeling, just stop calling, let him come seek you out.
Yeah. I think that even if you just walk into it and with the situation of thinking that I'm going to hunt it just like I would when I just set up in a field, and then I'm in thick stuff where I can only see 30 or 40 yards, there's mistake number one. And that makes a lot of sense for a couple places we specifically hunt that it's just a nightmare sometimes when we don't change our strategy all that much. We're hunting it like we'd hunt elsewhere, and it's thick. It's really thick stuff. And I've always thought that there's something to do with that, but I didn't really think of it, of letting them try to come find you.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because they have this tendency when they're coming to each other. I mean, by nature, the hens go to the gobblers more often than not. So he's expecting you to come to him. So that's why I always shut up when they're coming to me, because I don't want them to think I'm going to them.
Yep.
If you're to use a decoy, is there a specific set that you like?
Generally, a hen that's laying down in a breeding position with a jake.
With a jake.
That's where we have the most luck with.
I can't get a jake to freaking work to save my life. I have the worst luck with jakes, though, and I think I tried it for like a year or two and kept getting burned on it, and so then I think I gave up on it.
Don't give up
he's
on
the
a
same
jake.
freaking way. He's like, I love using a jake when I can.
Oh, yeah, a jake and a hen. That's a deadly combination.
I'm traumatized by it.
A strutting jake or just a
kind of half strut.
You think they can actually tell the difference?
Oh,
in
yeah.
It? Really? Mm-hmm. Based off of what, like the head?
Just
or?
the head, the body posture, the beard, the size.
Yeah.
I think they can.
And then, so if you have a group of jakes running around, running a bunch of toms off, will you ever switch that and put a tom?
Well, either that or no gobbler, no tom, just a hen.
And would you still go laying down hen in that position?
Depends on the foliage. If she can be seen, yes, I always go with a lay down hen.
Okay.
Transport's easier. It's easier to set her out quickly.
Yep.
But once the grass gets high and you can't see her, then I'm going to use one with a stake.
Yeah. We've used a lot of strutting toms, and I wonder if sometimes it's
a 50-50 deal, in my opinion.
It kind of seems like it's a 50-50.
50-50.
They're coming 100% or they're not at all.
Yeah, they're either on it or they shy.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a 50-50 deal.
We mounted one, a real one. My buddy, the taxidermist, and it was almost not fair. It did. I mean, you went from 50-50 to probably 75%. Mm-hmm. Now the first 13 toms, every one of them came. And they would whoop up on him, and I shot more turkeys. Because now, see, we typically are doing ours with a bow. And so we're using a decoy a lot more because we're trying to shoot him at 6 yards. Yeah. But anyhow, like, they'd flip. He was mounted on a piece of plywood, and so they'd knock him over, and then the plywood's sticking up, and they're still underneath trying to peck on his head and stuff like that. I mean, just ferocious. You know, when you mentioned...
Shows you that pecking order.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why when one won't come, it's because he's had that happen to him. You know? He's had the living crap knocked out of him.
Oh, when they go at it, they're brutal.
They're brutal.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, they're trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have some footage. That was in the fall that Kyle filmed that one.
Where that one wrapped his head around it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And tried to choke. It looked like he dang near choked out that bird. I mean, like, he's wobbly. I mean, they did that, wrap their head around there, and he just pushed him and pushed him and pushed him. And one of our camera guys just kept filming and filming. And he's like, I thought he was going to kill him, so I wanted to get it on video. And when he let go of him, he was like not normal. You know, so I mean, they can be a ferocious bird. Look at when you shoot one, and then The
they're
best
so
one
tough.
was he killed his first turkey in Nebraska one year, and we had again it's early March, so it's a flock, and they're all there, and he shoots this bird, and it runs over, and he's like, I don't know, it went out of sight, and I said, I'm quite certain it's there because I'm looking at about 25 turkeys pounding on something, and I was like, I think
Pretty
he's
sure
on
he's
the
laying
bottom,
there dead,
and if
yeah.
he isn't dead, he's going to be because they're going to have killed him.
Yep, certainly.
But the other one, like you talked about, that they can tell the difference between a Jake, all by accident, used to carry a tail around that we would stick in our strutting tom, and then it would get beat up over the year. And I felt like, holy cow, they're like more responsive to this thing. And I think they feel like he's somewhat, if a tail
Subordinate.
feather,
Doesn't
a
look so
feather
good.
missing, something like that, he looks like he's weak,
Yep.
and let's whoop up on him. Let's
Yep.
just go flog him. So there's all kinds of little tiny things. The more you do it, the more confidence you'll build in it. But I just hear lots and lots, and that's why I wanted your opinion. And we're the same. I mean, decoys work. If you're bow hunting them, you're probably more than likely going to want a decoy because it's tough to get that less than 10-yard shot without one.
No question.
So
You can do it, but it's challenging.
It's tough. And we've done it a few times, when
Yep.
you don't have them there. But and then you got to be. I would not. Someone who's never done it, I wouldn't start there with a turkey with a bow without a decoy because they're tough. You got to pinpoint where you're shooting, And so anyhow, it's just a different setup. So
Totally different.
yeah. All right.
I've shot one with a bow in my life. That was it.
Really?
One turkey. Yeah, it was a spring gobbler.
Why don't you?
I just like shooting them with a shotgun.
I'm going through an emotional distress with this situation because last year was the first time I ever shot one with a shotgun. I'd shot one or two others, but I committed to it full. I'm like, I'm done with the bow. I want to shoot them with a shotgun.
Sure.
And I loved it.
Oh, yeah, I
But
did
I've
too.
also could I ever just not shoot one again with my bow? And I'm trying to come to justification or justify it of I'm okay with shooting with a shotgun because it was
I'm
a
okay with
friggin'
it.
blast.
Well, here's the thing.
I absolutely loved it.
When you think about, let's say, deer, okay, I think the reason I got into bow hunting is because I wanted to be close. I wanted to hear them, see them do things, or that's what I found when I started bow hunting. I was like, wow, this is way different. I'm hearing them grunt and do all this, and I didn't get a shot. Where before that, okay, there he was. I never heard him grunt or anything because I shot him before he got close enough to hear that or see that or feel that. Turkeys, you can still, with a shotgun, have all that interaction. You can let them come right in and see how close and you keep that gun on them. And then the moment that they decide they don't want to come anymore, shoot them, So I don't think you lose hardly anything. I don't know why I'm so passionate with my bow about shooting turkeys. It just kind of became my thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to break that because I really liked shooting with a shotgun last year. It was a blast.
It is. It's fun. You get that immediate gratification too, right? Not that you can't kill them and they fall over with a bow, but oftentimes they might fly off or run off a little distance. You got to go recover them and stuff. And with a shotgun, there's generally no doubt. He's down, and if you're with anybody, you can have that end zone celebration. Like
It's a totally new
touchdown.
feeling. There was no question. It was boom, done. Yeah.
That's what I mean, man. It's an awesome time. That's why I love turkey hunting so much, especially with other people. It's fun.
I agree, 100%.
The other thing I like about shotguns too is you don't have to carry near as much stuff.
True. You got enough to carry with turkey hunting in general, right?
Yeah.
Add the bow in there, and then you've got even more to carry.
Bow, decoy, blind, camera, everything else for us.
When we're bow hunting with our cameras, it's
a lot.
We
It's
look
worse
like a
than
mule.
deer. Yeah.
I mean, we got
Takes
a lot
more
of
than a
stuff.
deer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
because
sure.
if you're taking chairs,
Oh yeah,
and decoys and the blind, I mean that's a lot to carry in.
yeah. Thank goodness for a cameraman.
I
or we
like
couldn't
sitting
carry it
against
all.
a tree. I think that was the other part about it last year that we just fully committed to it was, nope, just sat against a tree. Wherever we wanted to go, shotgun, no decoys, sit against a tree, and we just ran around, and it was way easier.
It is. Turkey hunting's fun, man.
It is a ton of fun.
It's a ton of fun.
So if you had one tip, brand new hunter, never hunted before for turkeys, and he or she said, I want to try to kill a turkey this year, what would be the one thing that you would tell them, probably the thing that you feel like would least lead them in the right direction?
One tip, I will tell you the mistake I see hunters make the most, have through the years is trying to get too close to a roosted gobbler. That is definitely a problem, and you see it and hear it, and people going in hooting, 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 hooting. All of a sudden, turkey just shuts up, and then they hoot more and more and more and louder, and they've gotten too close. They've visualized them. So I think that's a mistake a lot of people make. So sometimes that roost hunt, oftentimes, isn't going to be rewarded with a dead turkey anyway. We kill a lot more turkeys, not on that roost hunt, but rather late in the day. So I have a tendency to stay back a little bit more. I used to be more aggressive, but anymore, I want to be at that 150 yard from the goblin turkey, or maybe 125 if I can get there. But if you start pushing inside that range, they got great eyes and ears, and they just figure it out. And and they may not shut up on the limb, but they're probably going to fly the other way because they heard something or spotted something your direction. So be careful about getting too close to a roosted bird. But I could give you a bunch of tips for a newcomer. Probably the other tip I would give would be watch and listen to every podcast, every video. There's so much information and intel out there on turkey hunting and how to be a better turkey hunter. Take your time to study as much of that stuff as you can, whether it be our series, your series. Penn Hody has a great series. The Hunting Public guys do a great job. Watch all the stuff you can, and you can get a lot of experience under your belt simply by watching how people work turkeys and hunt them.
Get a lot of different opinions on it too. That'll help.
Get a lot of different opinions. Yep.
And then know that you're going to go out, and when you go out and sit down for the first time, throw everything everyone told you out the window because he's doing something that they didn't cover. Yeah. Because that's just going to happen. And you're going to figure out, and you may not kill that one, but that will help you kill the next one that's doing that.
Got to embrace failure.
Yeah.
Got to.
100%. What would you say is that usually the most ideal scenario? Like the most typical scenario or setup where Mark's like, this turkey's dead?
Mid to late morning turkey that calls to the strike, not one that's gobbling on his own. That turkey's generally can be a little tricky on you, but one that calls to the strike, gobbles back to the strike. That's generally a bird that we have a good close rate on.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Call it 8:30, 9:30, somewhere in there. They've lost those initial hens. They've gotten a little quiet, and suddenly they answer your call. That bird's not all the time killable, but can be.
Why not ones that are gobbling on their own?
I don't know. They're goofy.
Yeah, that seems
turkey
odd.
Just standing there in one spot, just gobbling, gobbling, gobbling. There's a difference between a turkey standing in one spot gobbling and one that's traveling and gobbling.
Right.
The one that's traveling and gobbling is probably looking for a hen a little bit more than that turkey that's standing there gobbling.
I think it feels totally different when you do hear them gobbling and then you call and they answer versus you just throw out one call and he hammers back. I think all of us are like, oh, yeah, there we go. We got a player.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Got a bite.
Yeah. What if you had to pick out of, not including in your case, a shotgun, but not including the weapon, 2 tools to be able to kill turkeys for the rest of your life? That's the only 2 things that you could use to get turkeys in and kill them. What 2 tools are you picking?
An owl hooter and a mouth call.
An owl hoot? I would not have put that in there. Why? Just to locate them that easily?
Strike a bunch with an owl hoot. They haven't heard one all morning. All of a sudden, mid-morning, hit that owl hoot, they'll gobble. I locate a pile of turkeys to an owl hoot mid-morning. Pile.
Now I'm going to pick a crow call because everybody that hears this is going to be like, Mark Drury does it, so I'm going to use an owl call.
I just strike a lot of turkeys with an owl, especially in close.
Yep.
There's something soothing about an owl, yet it'll make them gobble, but it never, ever alerts them, if you will. It's almost like a confidence decoy. They just don't have any problem with it. So I kill a lot of turkeys that I've owl hooted and struck them and then sit down and call them.
Fair enough.
I owl hoot as much as
I figured you had to think about it.
I owl hoot as much as I turkey call. I hoot a lot during the day.
Because that way, too, if you're walking out there and you hit that diaphragm call and he gobbles, now he knows right where you're at. So everyone's panicking, like trying to set up, and for us, when you got a blind and 2 chairs and all, it's like, okay,
you're much better off with a locator call.
Absolutely. Should we have just done that? Because so what we've gotten really good at about is if we're going to use a turkey call, or at least I have, I'm picking a spot that I can set up
Correct.
before I ever touch call.
100%.
Because if I can't set, and sometimes we'll even partially get set up as though I really feel like they're here.
That's the smartest way to do it.
Let's get, maybe
Although it's a pain in the butt.
It is a pain, and that's where people have asked me, how do you get so good at popping up these double bull blinds, and when you do it 10, 12 times in a day.
Turkey had to make you get at it.
Because you're pack it up, move, that's, to me, that was one of the greatest inventions ever when they came up with a portable blind.
No question.
That you could move and because it was so convenient.
Didn't do the turkeys any favors.
No.
Yeah.
No, especially and I again that becomes that thing for the bow.
Mm-hmm.
You get
Definitely a big help for the bow hunter.
Huge for a bow.
Yeah,
So,
big time.
but yeah, so now you're gonna start owl hooting more. You're a big crow. You use the crow call more than anything, don't you?
Yeah, I do like a crow call.
Yeah, crow call's great too. It's great. Super. I just have great luck with owl hoot. But I've got it in my voice, so I'm hooting quickly. I don't have to grab a call or anything. I just do it with my voice.
Yeah, I can't do it loud enough with my voice. I feel because so he can do it really well with his voice too, and you can tell that when he does it, he'll get a response. When I do it, it sounds pretty good, but I don't think it has the
volume.
Yeah, to be able to get him to do it. So,
Or they're like, that's a messed up owl.
hey, my owl call sounds like an owl, man. It's just not very loud.
Well, so technically you'd get one more then if you're just using your voice.
Yeah,
Well,
that is kind of true.
I was saying it for the guy that can't.
Right.
Take an owl hooter and a call.
But Mark
and a mouth
can,
call.
so you get one more.
Like he needs any more advantage.
I'm just curious to see what it'd be. Because maybe you don't. Maybe there's nothing else you need.
Then the other thing I would take would be a pot and peg call for windy days, long range striking.
That's a new one, a pot and peg call. Never mind. Here you go,
like
pot call.
Pot call.
Well, it's
pot
not
and peg.
Slate or glass.
Everyone says slate call, but yet they're referring to glass. They're referring to
That's why I
a
said
composite.
a pot and peg. Yeah,
you
there's
know.
something in there, but I prefer slate because I think it grabs better and just has more raspy sounds and more henny sounds.
Yeah.
So mine would be a slate and peg call for sure. I strike a lot of turkeys on windy days and long distance striking that you're not going to strike them with a mouth call. Yep.
I love slate calls. What is your two? And
Calls or two tools?
two tools, and I think you're gonna have to pick. I would assume you're gonna pick a bow, and now if you have two tools, you're
We're not
screwed.
assuming weapon.
Yeah, I thought you said weapon wasn't included.
Yeah,
I thought
weapons
I
not
know, but
included.
I'm saying that if you're bow hunting and you're gonna, okay, tell me what your two tools are with you
Well,
bow
that's,
hunting.
That's because I
That's
need,
why I said that with him, is I know he's shotgun hunting. He doesn't have to think about a blind. Or
I need
chairs.
three. I need three. I can't because
two.
I know what three they are.
I preach to everyone. You need a call, and I'm a diaphragm call guy, and especially with a bow because I got my bow in my hands. I want to be able to do it hands free, and then I need a decoy because I need them so I can make a good shot, and I need that blind.
That's the three I was going to say. Those are the three. But you could probably, if you had to get rid of one, you'd have to either get rid of
I'd probably get rid
Yeah,
of the blind.
get rid of the blind. You got to have the decoy and the call.
Yeah, I would probably get rid of the
Because
blind.
you can always brush in or something,
So I did that here just a couple of years ago. I said, I'm going to see it. And I went to Nebraska and called in a bird. No decoy. No blind. And it was tough. I had a ghillie suit on.
Oh, those are effective on turkeys.
So
They're great. Unless it's windy. That's the thing with like a blind that's got cutouts on it. You flare a lot of turkeys on blinds that have material on it just because of the movement. On windy days, make sure it's a tight blind without anything moving.
Yeah. Their eyes are unbelievable.
Oh, they're crazy, man.
Because I've
They're
thought
good.
a couple times I think like how cool it would be to have one come into Decoys or something sitting in a tree stand. And I've never tried it.
They
'cause
pick you so quick.
Oh yeah.
all the time
Pick you
during
so
the fall.
Yeah, they dang sure going to pick you.
I tell people I have literally had them see me take the safety off a gun because even though I love my bow, I have killed turkeys with a gun, and I know that I've had birds 25, 30 yards see me do that.
Oh, hell
Click.
yeah. They can see you blink, man. They can see you blink.
Yeah.
They're good at living.
All fall in the tree, they'll pick. Like I don't hardly ever get them closer than 50. It seems like. So
Yeah.
like they get to 50 and they got you.
All of a sudden, one head goes up, and then the next
Yep.
one, and then the next one, and then they start putting, and then they start back and forth, and they'll carry on for a long time, too.
Oh yeah.
Other animals key on that stuff, too, man.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was gonna. Yeah, that's.
For sure.
I wish you hadn't confirmed that for me because
We've been wondering that about the deer.
Yeah, I'm like, I wonder if those deer know that when these turkeys are putting like that.
That or like late season, if you're going into a food plot and the turkeys are always earlier than the deer, and the whole flock lifts off and flies into the bed where the deer is supposed to come from. Terrible.
Yeah, they're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go over there if I was you guys.
Yeah, well, they're not dumb. I mean, they're not dumb.
All right, last question, and then if you got anything you want to cover, I mean, more than welcome. But so you carry a shotgun a lot. What shotgun do you, what? And then I'm not care. It doesn't matter about.
I
brand.
shoot a 20 gauge. It's a Winchester 20 gauge.
Is that a single shot or you?
No, it's a pump.
Pump.
And an auto. I've got an auto and a pump, but I like it's got a little pistol grip on it. I like that model.
And what size shells are you shooting?
3-inch.
3-inch. Number 5s, number 6s, mixed load.
9 TSS. That Winchester TSS. Yep. Really hammer dead.
Yeah.
Hammer dead.
Lots.
That's the way I like them. Not trying to extend my range, just making sure that if I need a follow-up shot, I can take it. But I've never seen anything kill a turkey hammer dead like TSS does. It's insane.
I would agree with that. 100%.
Their long-reared XR is a good load as well, but that TSS load, oh my word. It's a bigger payload in their particular shell, and it just kills them. I mean, they are dead. They don't hardly even flop.
Is there a distance that you prefer to have them at?
To shoot?
Yeah.
I think ideally, like 30, 35 yards, but we kill a bunch of our turkeys inside 15 yards, just coming on into a decoy set, or we're trying to get great video, that type of stuff. So we shoot optics on our guns because at that point you're shooting a rifle, if you will. Your pattern's only about that big, so we want to make sure we're accurate. So I've shot an optic for probably 35 years or more.
Just a red dot?
I shoot just a crosshair scope.
Oh, so what's the magnification on it?
It's a 1-4, but I run it at about 1.5 to 2. Whatever looks like reality to me,
right.
That's where I have it. We kill, and then if you got a guest, boom, there it's on.
Right.
No matter who shoot. We have a lot of guests in spring turkey hunting. It's seldom us that's hunting. It's always somebody else. So that gun's on for them.
Yeah, I've fallen in love with a red dot, but
red dots are amazing too.
I haven't had any. I think the longest shot I've had was like 20, 25. Seems like they're always end up being that close.
Mm-hmm.
Any closer,
that's a great distance to kill a turkey.
Though.
It's a wonderful distance to kill a turkey.
Yeah.
It's ideal. Your patterns, still tight, but also big enough to make sure you catch those head bobs. That's always challenging when that turkey's moving his head. It can be very challenging.
I know we'll have a podcast listener that'll say, well, you guys covered how they'll come in close, and 30, 35 yards is ideal. What's the farthest that you feel like you guys will shoot at a turkey?
I wouldn't want to shoot one much over like 45 or 50, but the gun will do it out to 60 or 70, But if you get out there, you're also asking for trouble.
Right.
I want 100% ethical kill. And for me, with that gun, it's a 20 gauge, 45 and in, they're hammer dead. But like I said, we killed bulk of them inside 15 or 20. But I if you have to take a shot, or maybe there's a miss and then the bird's going away, I mean, you can kill them at 55, 60 yards, Right. But I like them close. I like them close.
Part of me justifying shooting a gun is making sure that they are still close.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I'm shooting with my bow.
Just like bow hunting. It's
I don't want them that close because that'd be like shooting a freaking bullet at them. But like within 20 yards or something where I can still feel and hear all the different sounds makes me feel like I'm just doing it with a different weapon.
Yeah. Hearing them drum has got to be one of the coolest things.
That's so fun.
I agree.
So fun.
Yeah. And I will say that's something that the Iowa birds, they drum louder
They're
than
loud.
Oh my gosh.
They're loud.
Because I used to tell people, like when I lived out west, if you hear one drumming, get ready. You're going to kill him. He's here. He's that
here.
close.
Yeah.
But I've heard some birds drum here that I think 50, 60 yards.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You can't tell. And that's the thing. Anytime you do something with someone who's never turkey hunted, you're trying to explain drumming. It's, you won't know it until you know it.
Once you hear it, though, you'll never not hear it. Like you'll always know that. That's
you can
what
kill
it
a
is.
lot of turkeys listening for drumming too. That period of the morning, call it 7:15 to 8 o'clock, somewhere in there, when they start to shut down, all of a sudden they go from gobbling their heads off, and then you're hearing nothing. You can kill a lot of turkeys just taking your time, listening, and paying attention to see if you can hear drumming in a block of timber, because it'll almost echo if it's calm enough.
Right.
If it's windy, it's harder to hear, but if it's calm enough, you can hear drumming for a long way on a calm, still spring morning. You can kill turkeys just by listening for drumming and setting up and calling real sparingly and trying to pull that turkey in. So don't
have to try it.
just listen for gobbles. Listen for walking in the leaves.
Yeah.
Listen for drumming. Listen for clucking and purring. Listen for wing flaps. They give you a lot of other signs that they're out there. It's not always a gobble. It could also be just a hen talking real soft. You know,
Yep.
I always assume any hen that I hear is probably with a gobbler.
Yep.
Until you prove otherwise, why not try her?
Yep. Fair enough.
Yep. And I love when the hen comes. Yeah,
Oh,
man,
that-
when the hen comes,
best.
I mean,
When they're yelping.
and then here he comes following. You know, maybe he's not gobbling at all, and it's so much fun when it's like, oh boy, she's getting ready to do him no justice because he's coming.
Yeah,
women
she's not
always
paying
in
him any
every-
favors.
Women in every breed of every animal is what gets men killed. Like 9 times out of 10.
Not for me this year.
Unless you got a great one.
There you go.
No, I mean guys will chase the women.
I know,
Pretty
but-
much every time chasing a woman is
Yeah,
what
but
gets them
unless you
killed.
got a
in
great
just
one.
about
You get a
every
great one, then you're
situation.
not chasing anymore.
No.
You're gonna make it. You'll make it from season to season.
Just happy and moving through life.
Yeah,
Got to find that great one, though.
There you go.
that's funny.
All right. Well, Mark, I don't know how to thank you enough. Did you guys got any other questions? You got anything you want to plug or anything like that?
Not at all, man. I just
mean-
appreciate you having me on, and I'd plug take somebody else turkey hunting. Go as a group. That's the fun thing about turkey hunting is going with other people. I think it's the best sport in the world. It's my favorite thing to do, and I love doing it because I get to do it with so many different people each spring. It's deer hunting is a little bit more of a solitude, but turkey hunting you get that celebration, and if things aren't working, you go have breakfast, come back later, and
Yep.
it's just a lot more of an active sport. So that'd be my plug. Take somebody else turkey hunting and go have fun.
I like it.
And if there's ever something that's so worth getting up early in the morning,
It's the hear a turkey gobble.
it's to hear a turkey gobble. I mean, because we tell people all the time, you're going to kill turkeys a lot of times at 8:30, 9 o'clock. So I'll get someone every seminar says, well, why do I need to go out so early?
Why do you not need to go out?
Yeah,
early?
it's like, but you don't understand when it's dead quiet or it's not. There's geese flying by and you're just sitting there, and the anticipation gets to be crazy, and then all of a sudden, oh boy, and then maybe that triggers another one, and then that 8:30, 9 o'clock works because now you know where everyone is.
Correct.
And so that's why you got to be there. And so that 4:30 alarm clock or whatever, it's so worth it during turkey season.
I can't wait to get up the next morning every night of turkey season. I cannot wait to wake up because I love it so much. And for that reason right there, one of my favorite things is sitting late April when the whippoorwills start. And, because the early part of the season you don't hear many, but then when it starts to warm up, those whippoorwills are going, and then all of a sudden they start to slow down, and about the time they stop is when the turkeys start gobbling. And I love to hear that transition from the whippoorwills going to them stopping. Crows will generally be first, and then all of a sudden that first turkey gobbles. And man, I think that's just the best. That's the best time to be a hunter, be alive.
Hold on.
Got me excited. It's only
made me
freaking
think,
January.
What's the most turkeys you think you've ever heard gobble at one time?
Boy, John Williams back in the day, it was not uncommon to hear over 30 a morning. My Iowa farm, my original Iowa farm, I had Kathy Etling up and Bob, and I know we heard 50 turkeys that morning gobbling. It was the most they had ever heard. It was the most I had ever heard, but I know we heard 50 that morning. And these were Easterns, and they were in every direction as far as you could hear. Groups of 2 to 4 to 5 to 6, just turkeys gobbling everywhere. That was the most I ever heard was that morning.
See it, and I tried to tell him, and we had a camera with us, but I didn't have it turned on. We walking in the dark in Nebraska, and this was not in Chadron. This was down in the southwest corner. I don't remember exactly the name of the town, but anyhow, we had permission to hunt on a private ground that bordered public, and it was archery season. And we had driven down. There was a bunch of people hunting the public, but it's a river bottom, and then this farm had like just like a big ridge that dropped off into farm ground.
Mm-hmm.
So we're standing on top of there. Warren's going to be my shooter that morning. And I told him, I said, let's just see if we got one gobbling right here for a minute. And a turkey gobbled about a mile away just way down the creek or down the river. And when it gobbled, then other ones started and it came up the river. I've never heard anything like this ever again. And it came up the river going like the wave. It was until they're right here in the tree in front of us.
And then it went back.
And then they did it one more time. And we didn't record it. I was just standing there like,
right?
What did we just hear?
Yeah.
And he's like, there's a lot of turkeys, Dad. And I was like, yeah, there's a pile. And they did it one more time. It was the coolest freaking thing. That, and then in Arkansas one time, a guy took me to a spot and said, you got to come here. I'm like, okay, well, what's the big deal? He said, just wait. And we got there, and we're standing on the side of this Peanut Ridge was the name of it. We're standing on top of the Peanut Ridge, and there's no turkeys gobbling. And about that time, I hear this roar. He didn't tell me, but they have an enclosure down at the bottom of the mountain, and there is a African lion. And when this thing freaking roared, turkeys gobbled it. And I was like, what was it? He's like, it's a lion. He's like, is that not the coolest thing ever? And I was like, I've never heard of that. I mean, but he had this deep guttural like growl or whatever they do, and he did that, and man, turkeys gobbled. And I was like, well, but that morning with you was, like I said, it was unbelievable. I would guess that was a couple hundred turkeys.
Oh man, awesome!
It was so many,
Awesome.
so many.
When I was a kid, I used to not be able to eat breakfast because I would get so excited.
Nervous.
Yeah, and just nervous, excited. I'd throw up. So I couldn't eat breakfast because I was just so excited to go.
Toxie always reminds me of the first time he came in to hunt with us was 1989. I met him in February at the World Voice Calling Contest. And then I went down there and worked for Mossy Oak over my spring break, and we just became friends. And then he came in turkey hunting with us. But I was so nervous to have him in. I wanted him to succeed so bad. And we had roosted these birds, or a bird, and he was gobbling his tail off. And all night I was trying to figure out how to do the setup and stuff. And I was so nervous the next morning. I got up, and we were sitting there having a quick breakfast, and I had to go outside and throw up because I was so nervous to get in his turkey.
That's awesome.
And he reminds me of it every time I see him. But I don't know, I get to this day, I just want everybody to succeed. And Toxie didn't kill the turkey because we're set up like this. The bird comes in and then swings way the hell around, and Terry's right behind us. It was Terry, myself, and Toxie. And Terry ended up shooting it, which was his first turkey ever. So Toxie was there to see him kill his first turkey ever. So we killed the turkey, but it wasn't, of course, he goes way out of his way to not come into Toxie. But I was nervous that morning.
That's awesome, though. I mean, like, as hunters, how fortunate are we to have something like that to be excited about?
All my vivid memories are hunting. Birth of my child, of course, our marriage and events like that, but so many vivid memories from hunting.
Oh, I couldn't imagine not
like
having...
your memory you just described. Like,
but it goes to the one thing that these two both, like, it became our tradition. We had a lease that we hunted in Montana, and going to get a chocolate chip cookie.
Yep.
Oh, those were so
And we would stop
good.
at the store and get, they made these big chocolate chip cookies. And you guys will never forget that. And we'll never be able to recreate. We can't go to another spot and it won't have the same feeling. Not that you can't create something else, but it just, and that's what
we didn't realize as kids, though, is that it wasn't about the cookie.
Yeah.
It was a signifier of what we were going to do. And
100%.
Which that's where I'm always thankful to be a hunter, because I couldn't imagine not having something like that to look forward to be thinking about, to be doing all the time.
Right.
Or to
what
look
would
back
we
on.
be thinking about?
I don't know. I don't know either.
My brain would be so dead. I would just be
It'd be sad.
doing nothing.
Be sad. I think it'll keep us alive.
We'd probably have to be a fisherman.
I think it'll keep us alive longer too, because the activity that you're going to do, there's no retiring from hunting. You're not going to stop. So it keeps you got to have a purpose and a drive. Well, what greater drive is there than one we all share? So I can't wait to go the next day, and I'm sure that's going to keep me alive longer. At least I'm banking on it.
Well, that's
Absolutely.
right now. That's what I have people ask me. Why are you go this hard? You're 57 years old. You're in the gym doing what you're doing, and I'm like, I got a moose hunt coming. And I was like, I got to be able to go. That was my whole thing for even when we had the boys. I was like, I want to be that dad that can still go. And this year Warren had an elk tag in Colorado, and I went, me, him, and Nick, and I was like, this is a good test. I want to make sure I'm not going to be the guy that holds us back. I'm not going to be the one that, hey, we got to wait on dad. I may not be as fast. I've never walked very fast, but I want to be someone that's part of the team.
I think that's a great point. Like I hunt with Wade and Christian and previously Perry. Younger guys will keep you healthier longer because you used to be able to do what they could do, but you can't anymore, not to the pace that they can, but you want to. And I'd try my darndest to beat Wade back to the truck or get across the fence. I generally don't do it, but I think it is a benefit to hunt with someone younger than you are.
100%.
In terms of a health component, I think it is a benefit.
He's pretty stubborn on that, though. Like, he doesn't need to take the rear quarter. He's got Nick and I both right there, and he won't let us take the flipping rear quarter.
Good for him.
Your knees are hurting you, aren't you? Just give us the rear quarter. You can take all the back straps and everything else.
But it was so much worth it. It really was. I mean, it was one
Stubborn
of those
old meal.
He's going to keep him alive, man. Yeah, that purpose and that physical side of things, it's huge.
Yeah, there's 3 guys that have no clue that the impact they had on me in Montana. I met 2 of them sitting on a tailgate one time. I had drawn a moose tag, and I got to the end of this road, and here's this older gentleman sitting on a tailgate, and here comes a guy walking up. And I was like, how are you guys? And I'm like thinking, what are they doing here? And because I immediately, one of my first questions was, can I ask how old you are? And he says, I'm 78. My buddy's a few years older than me. That's all he would say. And they walked up, and they had killed a spike bull with their bow. But his son was in there with him, which I'm guessing was probably in his, like me now, like probably in his 50s. But the 4 of them were packing that spike out. And I walked away. I told that guy, I said, at the time I was 29 or 30. And I said, you guys are who I want to be. You just told me that I got 50 more years of this without saying a word. Mm-hmm. And I was like, and that is unbelievable. That's awesome. So cool.
It's awesome.
Because I asked them numerous, I said, you guys need any help? Nah, we're good. We just take a little bit at a time. And they were doing great. And I came back and checked, make sure the truck had loaded up, everything were gone. And
good stuff.
It was, yeah. I mean,
that's life.
Yep,
life,
real life.
I always say Terry's my measuring stick. He's 10 years older than me, so every day of my life, I'm like, I got at least 10 more years. Right. And he's still going strong, man. It's hard to keep up with him in the woods, man. He's in great shape. You don't want to try to outwalk him. He's in really, really good shape.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Well, cool. Well, we went 20 minutes farther than when we said we were going to be done. You got a wacky fact, or should we make Mark come up with one?
We got to do a better job of
warning we're supposed to warn people because Warren started this, and it's become part of our podcast. And he closes every podcast with a wacky fact. So then we were like, well, we should start having our guests bring one because it'll be something that probably that is wacky to them, But
sure.
It can be the ones that do the best are turds. He talks about like the largest dinosaur turd.
That one just made everybody upset. How long do you think the longest dinosaur turd ever recorded was?
Oh, good night. I don't know.
No, it's you got to throw a guess out there. Turd.
I don't know. Maybe 100 feet. I don't know.
See, that is what everybody thought.
Yeah, we were thinking at least 3 or 4 feet.
Yeah, it's like 2 feet. Yeah, and I would think that's why that one has become such a. And then the other one everybody loves is, I guess, koalas actually poop in cubes.
No, it wasn't koalas.
It's or wallabies.
Wallabies.
Yeah, and then they stack it, and so everybody just loves those wacky facts.
Mark's going to be driving home today going, I thought I'd get something out of this podcast, but
I'm not going back for the deer episode. I'm out.
All right, we'll do this one. Frigate birds can literally nap while flying. They only use half of their brain at a time.
I don't know what a frigate bird is, but
I don't either.
Impressive.
I don't either, but I know a lot of people that live like that. They only use half their brain.
I'm not going to say what I was thinking.
Sleeping in flight seems pretty impressive to me, though.
Honestly, I guess if you're a bird, that's not much different than like horses sleeping, standing up right there. I'm like, how does he do that? And
you ever watch those Animal Planet things like on Netflix?
I've watched all.
Some of those birds never land. Like they have to freaking keep moving. The ones that are over the ocean and stuff, like they move for days and have to sleep in the air.
I would think they have to hit like the thermals and stuff like that, just carry them along for a while. And
I would think their lifespan's got to be super short then.
I would think. Aren't most wild things?
Yeah. But I would think you're constantly having to move. Mm-hmm. Isn't that the same thing with sharks? Don't sharks have to keep moving? I think otherwise they
I,
can't
I,
really.
I know
sit
that there
still.
was a misnomer for a long time that a hummingbird had to constantly flap its wings, and that's not true.
Yeah, no, we've seen them
I've
land.
seen them land.
Oh yeah, they land.
They
Hell
land.
yeah.
Yeah, they
It's just
stop.
how they are when they fly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but all right. Well, as much as we hate to, we're going to close out this podcast for you guys. Hopefully, you guys have enjoyed it. If you guys get a chance and you check out the podcast, also go over, check out all the stuff that Mark's got going on, because
Drury Outdoors.
the Drury Outdoors goes through. They have deer cast. They have the list is so long. When I started to print the sheet, I was like, I'm just going to let him pick out what he wants to pick. But
Why do you think I didn't give anything?
yeah, but
Deer cast is the easiest way.
But here's what I definitely want our podcast guys. Hopefully, they stick to the end, because what we're talking about here is someone who's dedicated their life to making all of you guys that are newcomers a chance to do this, to be a part of this. Mark, you hear this legacy that Mark is passing on, and I happen to know he's a grandfather. So, but it goes so far beyond that, and that is something that I know that I appreciate more than how many turkeys you've killed or how many deer you've killed, is how many people that you have touched, whether you physically took them or you just said something and they thought, I'm going to go pick up a bow or pick up a gun and go shoot something. And I can tell you that these two, I'm so proud of my two boys, because they have that instilled in them already, and I'm not taking credit for putting it there. They jumped on it an early, but people like Mark Drury are what have made this hunting community, and then it goes beyond that, what it is. And so I personally want to say thank you for coming here, and thank you for being a part of this, because I can't put it into words how much I personally appreciate you, and I know our whole family does.
Thanks for having me. And when's the last time you met a crappy hunter or a bad guy? You know, when they hunt, you're almost always friends immediately.
Yeah.
Did you ever notice that? Like, the hunting community is such a special family to be a part of, and you guys are shining examples of what everybody can strive to be as hunters and as a family. And I'm proud to be here. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah,
Appreciate
So
it.
we got a
Thank
good
you.
one coming up next too, with the whitetail one. That'll be
That-
fun. That one's gonna be. I'm pumped to have you for the whitetail one. That's
Yeah,
good.
let's do it.
That's
That
probably
was,
gonna ruin all my hopes and dreams, but yeah.
So for all you that as we close out here, and this is the new podcast thing, you'll probably see we're going to probably post something on social. Outside here, we have a solid wall, and this just came. I'm laying in bed last night at like 11 o'clock, and I told Mom, I was like, I got it, and she's like, what? I said, I know how we're going to decorate. We were trying to figure out what we want to put on the outside of I said, we're going to paint the suckers one solid color and have everyone who comes sign it. How come you come up with all these good ideas for your stuff? And I was like, I don't know. But and so anyhow, Mark's going to be our first one to sign. Not that we don't appreciate everyone who's come on the podcast before, but he is the first one in the new podcast studio. So that'll be fun.
Super
All right.
honored.
Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you. We'll see you next week.